To Siobhan Brownlee's list of sources used to study the impact of memory, I would add another, the football club. By examining a selection of professional club teams' colors, stadia, nicknames, badges, and crests, we can most clearly see how memory is used to solidify, commemorate, and pay homage to critical moments in communities of all sizes. In constructing memory, the local founders, supporters groups, boards of directors, and now international shareholders attempt to shape the trajectory of the club's fortunes by drawing upon medieval myths and symbols, thereby integrating them into the club's identity. Most apparent in medievalism is the influence of symbols and their impact on club identity. As an example, the crests of British football clubs and badges worn by their team's players are replete with the symbolic imagery of their respective cities or communities' medieval and modern identity. London club Chelsea named its home ground Stamford Bridge after the famous Norman-era battle. Halifax Town calls its stadium the Shay, from a middle-aged word, Shaw, which describes the former geography of the current stadium. And Cambridge United's stadium is the clearly medievally referenced Abbey Stadium. A cursory glance at the crests of the clubs also provides insight into the pride and excitement medieval symbols instill and engender, such as the armored arm holding a sword in Charlton FC's badge. Chester FC's has a crowned wolf symbolizing William the Conqueror's appointment of his nephew as first Earl of Chester, and Doncaster FC's usage of a Viking on its crest to harken back to the early Middle Ages. Consider also the multitude of clubs that, like Newcastle United, emblazon their city's or town's coat of arms in their entirety on their crests, or those that incorporate a whole series of symbols. Yeovil Town FC's crest is essentially a summation of the city's medieval prominence. At its center is the figure of St. John the Baptist from the parish church, and he is flanked by two crowned croziers which symbolize Queen Maud and King John, who granted the city its merchant charter, all of which is under a banner representing Queen Maud's protection of Saxon freedmen. The end result of these examples of purposeful use/misuse of the history of the Middle Ages is not just to increase ticket and merchandise sale revenues, but to instill a sense of pride in culturally distinct regions of a country, to build support for the team, but also to create a sense of solidarity that can be harnessed for positive ends, but also for negative, as fan violence continues to plague international football. What is striking is that many of the rivalries between football clubs can be traced directly back to middle-aged rivalries. After all, the Roses of York and Lancashire litter many club crests. Ipswich Town and Norwich City matches have medieval myths attached to their symbolism, and they both help create a modern identity of what wrongs the other committed, how barbaric their fans behaved, and how their own side is the innocent, pure, and heroic. More broadly, the localized identity associated with a football team is enlarged to the national level when the Scottish and English teams play each other, and songs are sung by the fans commemorating or celebrating the victories/defeats of medieval battles such as Stirling Bridge, Falkirk, and Bannockburn. The Scottish supporters are called the Tartan Army, and they still refer to the English team and their fans as the Old Enemy. In these ways, what we are observing is medievalism in sport, as teams and their fans strive for victory on the pitch and in pitched street battles outside of the stadiums. They are applying their concepts of medieval memory, symbols, and myth by creating and signaling both local and national identities.